Hello, this is Misheard from Misheard Song Lyrics. We're in Season 3, Episode 110. We're doing our first ever Corey Hart from his song Sunglasses at Night. The Misheard song lyric is, "Don't be afraid of the guy who shaves alone." And then the correct lyrics is, "Don't be afraid of the guy in shades, oh no." Oh my God, so funny. Okay, so this misheard song lyric came about because I just had a recent camping trip this last weekend. And I brought it up and we all couldn't confirm what this line was or what was said. And when I did my research, this misheard song lyric about the guy shaving alone came up a lot. And I thought I have to say, we got to do it because it's one of the funniest misheard song lines I've done. And I've done a lot of them. So let's first talk about the song, Mr. Corey Hart, and all the connections to Corey Hart and this song, because I knew he was a good singer, but I didn't realize what a musical genius he is, really, and a lot of opportunities that were given his way, and he didn't go that route. So let's begin. So Sunglasses at Night is a song by Canadian singer Corey Hart. I didn't know he was Canadian. It was released back on January 21st, 1984, as the first single of his debut album, 1983's First Offense. And of course became a hit in the US. I remember it because I was in junior high and it was one of those popular pop songs. And it officially rose to number 7 on the US Billboard Hot 100 during the week that ended on September 1, 1984. Makes sense because, again, in junior high at that time in the States here, and I remember it being played over and over in the radios, and then we had these dances, so that makes sense. Now, Corey Mitchell Hart was born on May 31st, 1962. He, again, is from Canada and known for this song, Sunglasses at Night, and the other song, which is Never Surrender. That's the other song he had a hit with. He has sold over 16 million records worldwide and recorded 9 US Billboard Top 40 hits. I didn't know that. And in Canada, 30 of Corey Hart's recordings have been top 40 hits, including 11 in the top 10 over the course of over 35 years in the music industry. That's pretty impressive. He was nominated for the Grammy Award for Best New Artist in 1985. So I wanted to see who he was up against and who he lost to. Well, it was a group of heavy hitters. He was against Sheila E. He was against Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Relax, don't do it when you want to come. The Judds, all right, from the country, all right. And Cyndi Lauper, and he lost to Cyndi Lauper. So he would have won, but against Cyndi Lauper. He was also inducted to both the Canada's Music Hall of Fame and Canada's Walk of Fame, and is also a multiple Juno Award nominee and winner, including the Diamond Award for his best-selling album, Boy in the Box. Also in Canada, actually, with ASCAP, which is the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. He was honored by them, and the Society of Composers, Authors, and Music Publishers of Canada. So that acronym is the SOCAN. Again, I mentioned he was born in 1963 in Montreal, Quebec. He's the youngest of 5 children of a mom named Mina, used to be called Mina Weber, and then his dad, Robert Hart, both Montreal natives. Apparently, his paternal grandfather was a Ukrainian Jewish immigrant, while Corey's mother was from a Romanian Jewish family. And then I guess his parents separated when he was 10 years old, and then Hart then returned to Montreal to live with his mother and older brother, Robbie. He also has a very close relationship with his mother, to whom he dedicates his first album. And it says here, Hart had little contact with his father, and it is sometimes shown in some of his song compositions, especially a song that he wrote in 1998 called Reconcile. And then Hart's first experience as performing as an artist came in as age 11. This is very interesting. So age 11, just imagine a young Corey Hart. He sang the Michael Jackson song Ben. Remember that with the movie about the rat? For Tom Jones. It is unusual to be loved by anyone. Bum, bum, bum. So that Tom Jones in Miami. And then he also recorded some songs with Paul Anka, which my parents just love him, in Las Vegas during that same time period. So he got the singing bug. And then in 1980, he actually represented Canada in the World Popular Song Festival in Tokyo, along with another Canadian singer, Dan Hill, marking his first public performance of original material. Now, who here remembers Dan Hill? I remember him because he has two songs of ballads, and I just love him. So I'm just gonna veer off to the Dan Hill thing, rabbit hole right now. So he was born Daniel Grafton Hill IV, born on June 3rd, 1954. As I mentioned, he's a Canadian pop singer and songwriter. He has two major international hits. I remember them both. One was "Sometimes When We Touch, the Honesty's Too Much." Remember that one? "Sometimes When We Touch." And then the other one, which I love as well, it came years later, called "Can't We Try?" Can we try just a little bit harder? Can we give just a little bit more? He sang with Vonda Shepard. If that name rings a bell, Vonda, she is the singer and chartreuse that was always on the show. Ally McBeal and did the theme song. So there's a connection there. And so he and Dan Hill did that song together. So I thought that was so interesting because both Canadian, both really good songwriters and good ballads. So that's the first Did You Know. So then back to Corey Hart. When he was back in Canada, he actually reached out to our very own Billy Joel, who was on tour in Montreal at the time. And Joel's backup band contacted him, and Hart ended up doing some recording. Actually, it started recording several demos with them in Long Island, New York. That's cool. And then Hart worked with several other Canadian studio musicians on demos before finally signing to the Aquarius record label in 1982 at the age of 20. And then several songs on his first album, including The World is Fire, pretty much touched on his rejections and difficulties that he encountered along the way of trying to get a recording contract. So I have to tell you, from age 11, doing Ben in front of Tom Jones to where he went to, you could tell this guy had some hustle. All right. So the song itself definitely has a catchy chorus and very specific melody. The next Did You Know is, according to co-producer Phil Chapman, the recording sessions for the album took place in a studio where air conditioning and heating vents were directly above the mixing console. I think that's unique, I guess. And when the air from the vents blew directly into the faces of the control room personnel, they often had to wear sunglasses to protect their eyes. So Hart started working on a new song, which began to improvise lyrics that included the line, "I wear my sunglasses at night," and then the rest is history. So there you go, where the song idea came from, because specifically this recording studio had air vents, air conditioning that hit them in the face. So you have to wear your sunglasses. Okay, so what about the music video? Has anyone seen it recently? I had to look it up because I remember seeing it back in the day on MTV, but that was a long time ago, 30 plus years. So let me just first start off. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube, just search it, you'll find it. It is a great 80s video. First of all, Corey Hart, now as an adult looking at it, looks like a young David Duchovny, the actor that was in the X-Files. He's wearing a sexy white shirt buttoned down, showing a little bit of man hair, and he just strutting his stuff. So it's very interesting. And then when you see an album cover of Sunglasses at Night, he's wearing the iconic black, I think, Ray-Bans with a popped collar, and he looks just like Tom Cruise did when Tom Cruise wore those same Ray-Bans in Risky Business in 1983, a year earlier. Coincidence? I think not. I think he's like, hey, I like that look, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a song about sunglasses. I'm gonna make myself look like Risky Business. There you go. All right, second part of it is, you'll notice in the video, why are there police in their pink sashes? What does it all mean? It's like, what does this all mean? So apparently the music video is directed by Rob Quartley. He shot the video at the Don Jail in Toronto, I think that's how you say it. And it supposedly reflects the vision of a fashion police state, so no wonder the pink sashes. With scenes of Hart in a prison cell without sunglasses, and he's being strong-armed by these police officers with the pink sashes, and paraded past various citizens wearing their regulation shades. And then in between all that is him tossing and turning in some little cramped apartment somewhere. And then near at the end of the music video, he is taken to the office of this sexy female police officer who releases him in the end. I was like, oh, I can see the sexual tension. Are they gonna kiss? No, she just lets him out of the cell. And apparently this police officer was played by a Laurie Brown, who I don't know, but maybe you Canadians that are listening or others might know. She later became a host of what's called the New Music, as well as VJ or video jockey on Much Music, which is Canada's version of our MTV. All right, so let's just dive into a little bit more about Much Music. So it's now called Much, but it was formerly and commonly known as Much Music. Again, it's a Canadian English language channel owned by a Bell Media that, just like our own MTV, showed blocks of music video and then also some original series focusing on Canadian musicians. And I guess in the years, it hit hard times. One thing I'll give MTV, it's still alive and kicking, but regarding Much Music, or Much as now it's called, it was, like I said, acquired by Bell, and then Much has canceled the majority of its music programming due to budgets and staffing cuts, and then the channel's full name was retired in 2013 because of, again, decreasing reliance on music-related programming. And then supposedly an offshoot digital network for social media content under the Much Music moniker launched on July 7th, 2021, so just recently. So hopefully that will last longer. Last things I do want to share with you are other things I didn't know about Corey Hart as well. So did you know that he actually was briefly considered for the role of Marty McFly in the 1985 film Back to the Future? Apparently, producer Steven Spielberg was impressed and sent Hart a copy of the script. Had no idea. With an invitation for a screen test. Although Mr. Hart was flattered, he declined, saying he wanted to focus on his music instead of acting. I don't know if that was the right thing, but all right, Corey Hart. So fellow Canadian Michael J. Fox, the rest is history, got the starring role and with the hit film franchise. So there you go. And then during the mid-1980s, Hart was also approached to record several songs for films. He mostly said no, but he, because most of them he wanted to write himself. He wanted to write it for himself, or actually he was approached to record several songs. And he's like, no, I'd rather write them myself and do my own stuff. So he actually recorded the song Hold On, and it was actually written for the Beverly Hills Cop 2 soundtrack of 1987 with Eddie Murphy. So those youngins, if you don't know what it is, Google it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, and then his single that we're talking about today, Sunglasses at Night, was actually featured in several shows. One was Scream Queens in 2015. I've not seen that show, but maybe some of you have that's listening or watching this video. And then one of my favorite shows, it was on the Netflix series Stranger Things in 2016. And then it actually had, I guess Stranger Things loved him so much that in 2019, his other song, Never Surrender, was featured also in episode 1, season 3 of Stranger Things. So there's a connection to Stranger Things, which is awesome about, if you haven't seen it on Netflix, it's awesome. Comes back to that same era in the early mid 80s. And I just have to plug in there that a couple months ago, I went to a karaoke bar and a friend of a friend brought her friend and found out she's a producer for Stranger Things. So my mind was blown. So hopefully your mind was blown. Lots of things I learned about Mr. Corey Hart, as well as Marty McFly. He could have been, who knew? And now I know that line is about don't be afraid of the guy in the shades. Oh no, not about don't be afraid of the guy who shaves alone. All right. So if you have some great ideas like this one that just came up when I went camping, let us know. We're on every social media site. You can email us too at misheard, MISSHEARD songs@gmail.com. And we'd love to talk to you or talk about and give you props on your misheard song lyrics. So keep singing those songs wrong. Bye.